remove your name from the signature of the account. Otherwise, somebody will write something and it becomes to us the law.
Okay. Okay.
Good morning. Okay. Good morning. My name is Kingsley Obo from the Directorate of Utilities, Development and Waterways. I want to appreciate the resource person for doing justice. The question I have in mind, the head of the Icpc, Rivers Bayelsa, also gave an insight. Now I want to ask, the review of these Icpc laws, does the commission make presentations from time to time from review of these laws? Why I ask this question, you have just told us that we are allowed as public servants to own farms. Today, most of us has shut down our farms because of insecurity. Today, there is selective review of salaries, starting from the topmost in this country, but it is yet to trickle down. We all go to the same market. In fact, those ones at the lower rung of the ladder have more children and dependents. The realities are looking at us. Yes, we are told only law lecturers and only medical doctors can practice their profession. As an engineer, I cannot put my seal to a private development. I cannot go to the farm. I am restrained on all directions. What do I do? I am not allowed to receive gratification directly or indirectly. In fact, I don't know. I also want to ask, because sometime in 2009 or so, code of conduct, we're told that if you are offered a gift or even gratification, declare it before management. Is that still subsisting? Okay. So it means that whatever I receive, I will have to declare to management. Because we are constrained on all sides. I can give you an example. Just 2 hectares of plantain farm I had in this town somewhere. Somebody was murdered just because they want to steal plantain, and that farm was shut down. So are there efforts to review some of these laws? Are there efforts? That's what I want to know. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my brother. I have taken notes of that question, and I promise you that I will make presentation to my people up there. Because what you're saying is quite true. The insecurity, the farms are no longer safe, right? And to answer it partly, yes, we do make presentation on the review of our acts. But see, it's a gradual process. Something will definitely be done. But I can assure you that I've taken notes of it. Maybe it's escaped our minds, but definitely we are going to address it. The Icpc will address it at the appropriate time. Let me leave it there. Let me take it up, but I'll surely come back and answer that question. Thank you.
We have a question from our online participants. I read, outside the official hours, can a public servant who is, say, a professional surveyor engage in private practice? Can a professional surveyor engage in private practice? This question is from Kingsley Asu, PMS, Abia State.
If you are a public servant, you are a public servant from Monday to Sunday. So it covers your private time. So for you to be on the safe side, please don't do it. Please don't do it. Don't do it. It is not safe. It is not safe for you. Because if somebody petitions you, you will not go to court to say, I did it in my free time. There's no free time for public officers. If you are a public officer, you have paid for 30 days, the number of days you work in a month. So the government has bought even your free time. So please, to be on the safe side, don't engage in any private work, except the doctors and the lawyers. Thank you.
Good day, madam, and the high table people on the high table and our directors. My observation of what Icpc seems to be doing is to sentence a public servant or a civil servant to poverty. Yes, because if you are restricting civil servants from having external support to their economy, the reality of our economy right now is that the value of what a civil servant is paid actually doesn't take him home. And so, is this constitutional or law that a civil servant must live a poor man's life or a poor woman's life to be able to serve the nation? Because if certain things are not considered based on the reality of our economy, then we are saying that a civil servant is meant to be a poor person. And is that the rule, so that next time I can tell my son not to bother to be a poor person in the future? Thank you.
Not so. We don't want public servants to be poor. It is not the duty of Icpc to sentence an average public servant to poverty. It's only from what my brother was saying that time, the insecurity now is too much. A public servant is supposed to go into farming. And let me tell you, there's so much money in farming. Aside from the insecurity, there's so much money in farming. A public servant is supposed to own farms. Public servant is supposed to own a poultry business. You do that. It's an addition to your salary. And like I said, we are taking some of these things into consideration. Now that we cannot, safely own a farm because of the way things are, ICPC is going to take that up. I'm writing a report on what we have noted here today. We are certainly going to come back and answer that question, because I believe, like you, we buy it from the same market. We know how things are. So we are going to look at it and look at amending the laws to suit the realities on ground. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My question is, as a public servant and you own a farm, can you supply the produce of those farms to the company where you work, to like NDDC or any other place? Can you supply it?
You don't need to. You don't need to supply it to the company. You can introduce, as a civil servant, I have a farm. And maybe somebody who needs the products can come and buy. It's not really you supply. Are you raising chicken to supply to your office every time? It's not done. Whatever you have, you can sell it at the open market. You're very free to sell it. You cannot be bringing plantain to NDDC every day to sell. You can't be bringing your chicken here for NDDC only. You sell it in the open market. Right by your village, there are villagers that are interested. There are farms, there are markets near there. So you can equally sell it. It's not right for you to be bringing it to where you are working. But if you have a colleague that knows that you have a plantain farm, there's nothing wrong in you selling to your colleague on a personal basis.
Good morning, madam. Please, my name is Hector Dorin. I have a question, sir. In line with what you just said now, sir, as a public servant, my husband owns accounts, a company account, and as a public servant, am I allowed to be one of the signatories to the account? Thank you.
Sorry, that has already been answered. You don't need to be a signatory to the accounts. If you were there as a director of that company, please, as soon as you accept the job as a public servant, you resign. Remove yourself from the accounts completely. Because if you are caught, the law will explain it for you better.
Okay. Good afternoon, ma, and good afternoon, colleagues. My name is Dennis Johnson. I just have two questions to ask. Number one question I want to find out is that in the process of your recovery, after a crime has been committed, does Icpc has any percentage to be taken from the recovery? That's one. Two, is it a crime for a public servant to participate in politics? Thank you.
Hello? Good question. Hello? Even the Bible says you cannot serve two masters. Let me start from there. If you want to be a public servant, please be a public servant. If you want to try your fate in the political field, please resign and go and contest. Don't stand one leg here, one leg there. Please resign, contest. And for the second one, yes, we do make recoveries. We do make recoveries, and we are still battling with the federal government that Icpc should have a percentage of it. It is still in process. It's what we are battling for, because we do a lot of recoveries. You can see the constituency and executive projects tracking. We track a lot of projects, and we make recoveries. But we are still battling to get at least some percentage of it, so that we can also live from there.
Okay. All right. Good morning. My name is Mr. Lawrence Essien. I'm not sounding petty, but can a public servant be a landlord?
Hello? Hello? Yes. The right to own property is in the Constitution. I'm not a lawyer, but I think I'm correct. You are free to own a property. But when the problem comes is that, let that property, as you are owning, I come and I see that that property is much, much bigger than what you should have gotten as a public servant of a certain level. Yeah, because let me not see you living beyond your means. Some years ago, as a junior investigator, I had the unfortunate incident to investigate a level 4 guy in, I think it was Federal Ministry of Agriculture. I entered his house and I was afraid to sit down. Then I now understood what he was doing with the federal government's fertilizer. So if we find that you are living beyond your means, and that's where the problem will come. Because you have to come and account for where you got the money to become an estate owner. But if you are just a landlord, you are free. You are Nigerian, you can live anywhere. Own properties. Thank you.
Good afternoon, madam. I stand on all existing protocol. Now, when the civil service says one should be loyal, and in the loyalty, your boss tells you, especially in the case of imprest, and the boss says, I want this imprest to be paid into your account. And in the course of it, you are being instructed to do disbursement. And you carry out the disbursement. At the end of the day, you are now invited. Is there any crime in disbursement?
Hello? Hello? Let me start from the very beginning. You're directed by your boss that his imprest should be paid into your account, right? Is there anything written concerning that? Was it a verbal directive or was it a written directive? Is verbal. Okay, and it's a praxis. Okay, a practice in that organization, right? Office impress. Okay. Now that you've started disbursement, on whose orders, on whose directive? The boss. Good. Disburse it according to what the boss says. But you need to protect yourself. When you do that, keep your record. Some bosses may not want to tell you directly, do this, do this. Let me give you an example. We had a case in Icpc years ago. It had to do with, I think it was some monies that we recovered. And, we have exhibit keeper. A boss directed an investigator to go and get the money and bring it to him. So what the guy did was that he called his friend. See, this is what my boss has directed. So he went with the friend, two of his friends, and got the money and gave it to the man. Now, the man was a senior, very senior, a head of a very big agency in this country. When the time came, he denied. And it was the friends that went with this officer that were people that saw what happened and knew what happened. And they were the ones that speak for him. So what I'm saying is that keep a record. On so dates, my boss said disburse this. Yes. Okay, but you need to protect yourself. There should be somebody who knows, who can testify that indeed it was your boss that gave you that directive. Because as long as the money is with you, you are at liberty to disburse it anyhow. And the man or woman can say, I didn't authorize this disbursement. So you must be very careful. On the day he says disburse this, you write it down on paper. Let somebody know about it and do the disbursement. We are not talking about how accurate you were in disbursing, but the directive given to you. Get it written down to be on the safe side. Let it be written down because your boss may not want to write it down. You write it down, tabulate it. So date I was told to do this, and you do it accordingly. So that if there's a problem there, we can now say, okay, this one came on the directive of the boss. Okay? Madam, are you satisfied? Okay, where are we lost? What I'm saying is that you keep a personal record of what you're doing with your boss. Okay? Keep a personal record. In fact, if need be, tell your friend, Oga said I should disburse 1 million to so person. That friend now will be there to speak for you. So you keep a personal record of what you're disbursing under the directive of your boss. Are we still lost?
We'll be taking our last questions for today from our online participants. There are quite a number of them, but I'll read a few. The first one is, as a public servant, can you play Bet Naija in the sum of $10 million? As a public servant, can you play Bet Naija in the like sum of $10 million? Another question from, okay.
As a public servant, what's your level? Where will you get $2 billion to play Bet Naija? That is, you are living beyond your means. You are accepting bribe. That's a clear indication that you are corrupt. And that's why we brought this to you, to know that you are corrupt when you do things that are beyond your means. Don't play Bet Naija. Play Bet Naija 100 naira. That is within their means. 200 naira if you have it. If you have to throw away 500 naira, that is your own. But if you play Bet Naija 500,000 as a civil servant on a salary of 250, where did you get the remaining from? Savings and allowance. And I'm made to believe that civil servants, public servants needs to be poor. If you are buoyant enough to decide to throw away 500,000, then you don't need anything again. So please, let's be careful.
Okay. I read another one.
Landlord. Landlord, when you receive your tenant's rent, put it in Bet Naija. I pray that you win and reverse. Yes.
Okay, I read another one. Can I receive more than my salary from a family as a gift in my salary account?
Can you receive?
More than my salary, that's more than my pay, from a family as a gift in my salary account.
Your own family?
Yes.
Of course, now, if your father is rich and decides to give you 1 million, and you can justify, no problem. No problem.
Okay, I read the last one, ma. Can you help someone promote his or her business of which you are a civil servant? Can you help someone promote his or her business of which you are a civil servant?
It depends on the business that it is. Let it not be 419.
Okay.
If it's a legitimate business that my colleague here is having a groundnut to sell, he sells his bottle of groundnut 500 naira while others are selling 120. Why wouldn't I promote it?
Okay, ma'am. I'm sorry, another one, important one. A company belonging to my wife, can a company belonging to my wife do a business with my organization without my knowledge? Is it an offense?
Without your knowledge? How will it be? How will it be without your knowledge? Because when you see the directors, your name, your wife's name must be there.
Maybe without his consent, or he doesn't know about it.
Consent? No.
Okay. Which one? Okay. Mas, let's take the last one now. I'm into livestock farming. I want to open an exportation company solely for my livestock. Am I wrong, or will I be in trouble for opening an exportation company for livestock? I should take it again?
Exportation. Agribusiness, you can go into agriculture, but don't use it in your establishment. You write your book, you sell it, you sing your song and export it. That one is acceptable.
Thank you so much, Ma, for doing justice to these questions. Having concluded with this section, I will be inviting Barrister V. Arenka for the closing remarks and vote of thanks.
Thank you very much. The MDCO, the Commissioner, Icpc Commissioner representing Rivers and Bayelsa States, directors, deputy directors, and my esteemed members of staff here present. On behalf of the Act 2 of NDDC, I want to thank, first of all, the MD CEO for approving the conduct of this exercise. I'm sure we all have been refreshed and enlightened by this exercise. This is the first in a series of exercises that we'll be embarking on to keep the staff abreast of the offenses and penalties under the Icpc Act. I want to thank the Commissioner Professor for coming here to, as well as the Speaker, my very good friend, Dr. Fred Agada, for his beautiful exposition. I thank all members of staff for finding time to come here. Without you, this whole exercise will have been a failure. As you go back to your respective offices, I wish you God blessings. Thank you very much. And so okay.
Please, we are going to be taking our closing prayers now, and we'll be taking it the second stanza of the national anthem. Please, let's be on our feet as we close this program.
I'm sorry. Today is Dr. Agada's birthday, so we'll just sing a birthday song for him. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Okay. Icpc. 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 Thank you very much. Just an information. The Act 2's office is on the 4th floor. So if you have any questions or you want to know more about these offenses, you can actually visit us there. Thank you.
So we take the second stanza of the national anthem as we close.